now we have Miss Priti Mahara. Is Priti there? Priti ji? Do we have Miss Priti Mahara?
Hello.
Priti ji?
Yes, Ajay, I'm here.
Yeah. So what I'll do? Yes. I'll make you a co-host if you want to make a presentation. Okay. So
no, I don't have any presentation.
But still, because I'll make you co-host. So we have Miss Priti Mahara with us. She is a child rights advocate, and she has a long experience of working in the child rights sector with CRY, with PLAN, and most of you who have gathered together here would be knowing Priti, and she will be talking mainly about the gap between what we are teaching our children and teachers and parents in terms of the knowledge and skill to remain safe online, and what the level of crime and the harm and the risks that is there. So what she says is that there is a mismatch between what we teach our children and what risk and harm they face. So over to you, Priti ji. And she will be talking.
Hello?
Yes, Priti.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Namaskar. So first of all, there are the government bodies, civil society organizations, private sector, government, all are making efforts, trying to make children, trying to make parents, trying to make the communities, everyone aware of about the digital technologies, their positives, and also the kind of risks that they come with. Today, my presentation will be, and the discussion will be more about, what the emerging issues that children are facing, and what actually we are, where we are in our awareness generation related programs or the communication material. So digital technologies no doubt have played an important role in the transformation of lives of children and adults, of course, adults also. So most of the time, children use the digital technologies for communicating with friends, as we all know, and family. They express themselves through this medium, explore new concepts, explore about themselves. They engage in gaming and playing and learning, of course. United Nations Convention on the Rights of Child, and we call it UNCRC, is the most widely ratified human rights treaty we know, a human rights treaty in the history, which guides us and mandates states to ensure welfare and holistic development of children. And many of its articles, children have right to development, right to be heard, right to freedom of expression, right to freedom of association, assembly, access to information and materials, and the most important, Article 16, which talks about right to privacy. That makes it clear that children and young people have the right to privacy just like adults. So why actually I have started quoting UNCRC and its article is, whenever we start talking about ensuring safety of children, online safety of children, we see a little hesitation among people, and with some people assuming that we are against the uses of technology. It's not like, especially from the child rights group, when we talk about it. Then that's not the thing. We are very pro use of a technology, but it should be child centric, child safe when it is dealing with children. So on one hand, online or digital services provides children with opportunities to explore and shape their identities and to communicate. But on the other hand, the threats to children's safety and privacy are increasing at alarming rates. And there are a number of data that I'm not going to go into it again. So So children themselves and parents, teachers, and caregivers have a very big role to play in protecting the children's right to safety, right to privacy. But equally important is state must also safeguard children by making appropriate legislation and improving the implementation, having the awareness program strategies in place, appropriate, child focused, according to the evolving capacities of children. So the legislation and guidelines must also ensure children
Priti ji, your voice is not coming and the video has also stopped.
hello.
Yeah, you are back now.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I dropped out. Technology issue. Okay. So so while dealing with children online, uh, and considering the best interests of the child, the evolving capacities of the children, the children and their rights cannot be compromised in the name of ease of business. I'm not against doing business, but it should always be children first and not commerce first. Else we are definitely messing with our future. So now children usually interface and share data and information in three ways. So number one is, I'm trying to give the message in a very simplified manner. I'm trying to avoid all the jargon. So the number one is the data contributed by children, about themselves, about their families, about others, and usually intentionally, knowingly they are sharing it, and at times unintentionally, unknowingly while participating in online platforms. The second type is when they leave data, most of the time unknowingly while participating online, and it's captured by data tracking technologies such as cookies and other metadata. The third type is when the data is derived from analyzing data, given and data, we call it data traces, often by algorithms, profiling, we call it in simplified manner, uses of AI, artificial intelligence. Um, and this is mostly not known. Unknown, it is beyond comprehension when it comes to children, at times adults also. See, I don't want to focus here on the hierarchy of these three types of related to their impact on children, but what I want to focus here is our current awareness programs, Ajay, are mostly related to the first type, and the second and the third type is nowhere in the picture. Okay, so why? So we are still struggling with the basic digital education of children and families. And considering of course, the poor awareness levels and the poor education level of our population here in India, and I am sure in other developing countries and underdeveloped countries. So there is a huge gap between what are the current complex issues and the emerging complex issues and risks related to online safety, and where actually our awareness programs are. NCRT is making efforts. NCPCR, civil society organization, private bodies. But again, the focus is on the very basics, because our population, children, parents, and larger communities they are not aware of even the basics. So so forget about going into the complexities of the latest trend. The existing ones we all know is the risk that children are facing: online stalking, identity theft, and exposure to unwanted, sexually exploitative or inappropriate content. Um, so on such pre-existing, and also it is an emerging risk related to advertising directed at children. Okay, so children, especially adolescents, are often seen as important market as a consumer as well as an influencer, since they may influence decision making of their peers, their family. So children's private lives can then be exposed by marketers who can observe their online activities. A paid partnership between advertisers and video bloggers is like not a thing that we don't know about. In 2016, if I remember correctly, WHO, World Health Organization, reports on online food advertisements aimed at children concluded that parents were unaware of both the profiling techniques used to target children and the related risks. And there are many such examples. If you will go through a global privacy enforcement network report survey, you will find such many examples. Another risk of concern and emerging complex issue is related to the growing use of mass surveillance techniques. It captures the personal data of internet. We know internet users across the globe, not only here, across the globe, including children and adults. And as I said earlier, on the one hand, the web provides new tools that allow children to investigate the world around them. On the other hand, it opens new avenues to track, store, and analyze children's actions. A report commissioned by UNICEF has highlighted how online surveillance could be even more dangerous for children growing up today as a mass collection of data, and would allow authorities to build and maintain records of children's entire digital experience. Another one is the use of biometrics and how today's technologies can affect children online. And I'm quoting here the UNHCR report, and it mentions that biometric authentication is largely used by identification purposes in the areas of migration, mostly to identify and register undocumented immigrants and refugees. So the technology is also being used here for the identification of children in countries that lack effective birth registration system also, and when they are missing and in the refugee camps also. So I'm not going into too much of detailing of how the biometrics then combines with the other IoT enabled devices in the blockchain, and then in the entire the tagging of system that works and enables identification of children in photos. For them it is fun, for everyone it is fun, but somewhere the data is getting stored. How it is getting stored, how it is going to be disposed, who is looking after it, no one has a clue. Another new trend that poses a series of risks to children, especially those from certain ethnic or religious groups, is the everyday use of algorithm to make an increased number of automated decisions online. If privacy and other ethnic standards are not embedded in algorithm, their use can lead to discrimination against a sect of children on the basis of their country of origin, ethnicity, religious status, and can lead to certain kind of discrimination, which may impact their future opportunities related to education and career, and also it may increase the state surveillance. CSAM, people have talked about it. I'm not going into detail, but it is still a very prominent and very worrisome issue. And the COVID-19 crisis has added fuel to it. And because children are spending more time online than ever, and offenders have reduced opportunities to commit offline abuses. So that has increased kind of an online demand of imagery and videos and everything else. Again, I'm quoting one global threat assessment 2021 report. So it mentions that online child sex abuse material has grown exponentially during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, it is suspected that sexual child exploitation has increased to 106%, according to this report I'm telling you. So this is again one worrisome trend. The second thing is internet addiction. And Ajay, and when I was with CRI, we have worked on this issue. People are still not very much aware of aware of this of internet addiction, which is actually considered as a psychiatric disorder or a mental illness similar to other well-established addictive disorders. And Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders actually has recognized internet addiction as a mental disorder. Is a mental disorder. So this is also a worrisome trends where children may face changes in the cognitive and the behavioral issues, including progressive loss of control over gaming, tolerance, and withdrawal symptoms, and many others. I'm not going to go into details. I just want to highlight the issues. Another worrisome trend is how children nowadays are getting influenced related to hate crime, intolerance, and radicalization online. Uh, this also we need to figure out. One last point that I want to highlight here is concerns of vulnerable section of children, like migrant children, children with disabilities, how we are ensuring their online safety or their access to online tools, technologies, and whether our awareness materials, awareness program are catering these children is is very important question. So with these questions and food of thought, I would like to thank you everyone for your attention, and organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on this issue. Over to you, Ajay.
Thank you, Priti ji. Thanks a lot for bringing out these issues. And yes, we all understand that there is a big gap between the problems that our children are facing and the solutions we take upon ourselves, the solutions that we are providing in terms of awareness or sensitization. Because what is required is not just knowledge. It is also the skill that is required. It is meaning the basic knowledge, the do's and don'ts won't suffice, because the crime is very dark, and it is like when you are talking about child sexual abuse, and when we are talking about stalking or child sexual abuse material being spread, and it is having a permanent digital footprint. It is not like it is today and it will go away tomorrow. It forms the digital identity of the child, and it is there with the child for the whole life, and the child cannot get away from that identity, because if it is so, it is something which we all need to work. And the other point that you spoke about, the ethical algorithm, which drives these big companies, they need to be very ethical. And meaning the programs, even from the safety side, when the big companies write, so it is a closed something. They do not disclose or discuss with others, and it is not mandated or mandatory upon them to discuss or disclose the algorithm or the programs or the codes that they write. How are they functioning? So that is another. And the most important point that you highlighted is the access and the safety of the children who are vulnerable, who are in the remote areas, who do not have access to this school or knowledge or these platforms. So क्या हम उनके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि हम हमेशा से बोलते हैं, हमारी संस्था और जो नेटवर्क है, हम हमेशा से बोलते हैं कि एक्सेस बढ़ाना बहुत जरूरी है, हमें डिजिटल यूज को प्रमोट करना है, लेकिन अगर सेफ्टी नहीं होगी तो एक्सेस नहीं होगा। अगर सेफ्टी के ऊपर हम ध्यान नहीं देंगे तो उनका एक्सेस और घटता जाएगा। जैसे कि अगर आप बाइक चलाना चाहते हैं, मोटर बाइक चलाना एक अच्छी चीज है, क्योंकि वो आपको एक जगह से दूसरी जगह कम समय में ले जाता है। लेकिन अगर आप हेलमेट नहीं पहनते हैं, या आपको ठीक से चलाना नहीं आता है, या आपको रूल्स नहीं पता है, तो एक्सीडेंट होगा। जब एक्सीडेंट आपके पहले 100 मीटर पे ही एक्सीडेंट हो जाए चलने के, तो आप क्या बाइक चलाएंगे? नहीं चला सकते हैं। तो वो आपको उस जो नए लोग हैं, जो नया सीख रहे हैं, उनके लिए वो डेटरेंट हो जाता है। So that these are all things that we need to keep in mind, and we will definitely keep in mind. And for that, it cannot just be work of one organization. We all need to come together, join forces, and learn from each other, support each other. That's very, very important. And thank you so much, Pritidi. With this word, we thank you and say you goodbye for now. Remain with us for the remaining time and also join us tomorrow, and we'll keep connected and work together. Now I welcome Miss Anika Vashisht. She is Assistant Professor of Criminology.